After yesterday's rather embarrassing and completely pointless mission to Bedfordshire, I thought it would be a great idea to go out the next day and actually buy a car. A very nice one. In fact, I reckon this car is going to get quite a lot of interest. It's a that has just passed its MOT. That does make it nice, but more than that, this has had quite a bit of work done to it. New brakes all round, new suspension bushes, servicing, all this kind of thing, to make it a good, usable, dependable car. From the angle that you're looking at the moment, you won't be able to tell whether it's a 75 or indeed an early 45. Well, it's a 45. It's a booted 45. In fact, it's a W-Reg 45. One of the very first cars to come out of the factory. And it drives absolutely spot on. It really does. I've driven many a car, as you know, and certainly many a Rover, so I know how they should feel, and this one is absolutely excellent. That rattle you can hear is actually my key. No, it's not. It's that. So it stopped rattling now. This car is perfect for me because whilst all of the mechanical work has been properly dealt with, there are a good few bits of cosmetic things I can actually deal with, such as paint, bits of lacquer peel here and there. Yeah, not a big deal. And now I've got my new bravery skills, I'll happily tackle them. As most people know these days, Rover did make cars that drove very well, and particularly the 45. It's a very underrated car, so it's great to drive on twisty roads. Oh, it's at home on roads like this. This is great. Feels really nice, and I've gone a bit more quickly than I should be, really, to be honest. Listen to this. Yeah? Do you know what's going on there? Of course you do. CVT gearbox. It's an auto. The CVT gearbox works a bit differently to a standard auto box, where it holds it at about 2,500 revs, which is its maximum torque, and just stays there. It's rather strange. Whilst on roads like this, the 45 ends up being my favourite car again. The trouble I find is that with practically all Rovers, that when I'm driving it, I find myself thinking, this is the best car ever. And not many people can say that. No, most people will say, well, this is the worst car ever. But that's because, you know, they're simply not driving it properly. They're not really allowing themselves to enjoy a British car with its slightly quirky character. I think I know why. The 25 and Streetwise are the nicest car to drive just around town. The 45 is the best one around twisty A-B roads. The 75 is not in this list, and the 600 is just such an elegant thing. The old 400 and 200 are a bit like a 45, but just don't drive quite as well, but all the same look so great and so retro whilst being timeless at the same time. The 45 I've always felt is to be, certainly the early 45s, I've always felt to be the car that really is a proper Rover. You can say that about loads of them. I am nearly back home, and I must say that was a most enjoyable and relaxing drive back. Not happy with that parking, so that's better. I'll tell you more about this car back at the yard. Hello and welcome to the second part of this video. Long-term viewers of Project Nigel may recognise this car, and possibly those that have binge watched all the videos so far. This is a press release Rover 45. Apparently it came out before the Rover 45 was actually released properly. And this registration there, LDA, does actually tell you something about that. This car is not new to the channel. It's just new back to the channel. I first saw this car 2 years ago. 2 years ago when I went all the way to Kent, Ashford in Kent, with a friend of mine to go and collect it. And he'd been banging on about this car for ages and saying that we've got to save it. It needs to be saved. He'd saved it previously and just kind of sold it to the wrong person or something. And there is a video of this, a grueling 600-mile drive in transit phase to go and collect it. It was originally supposed to be a quick and easy recommission, but it turned out that the floor pan had started to rot and there were holes in it that big. And with that, the poor old thing just sat in the yard because I didn't have the means to weld it. And I still don't really. But after about 8 or 9 months, it got taken on. And it got taken on and it got fixed. What this car really needs now is a jolly good cleaning and detailing. That's the kind of thing I like to do. But what I don't like to do is what has been done to it already. New brakes all round, new trailing arm bushes, engine servicing including belts, auxiliary belts, power steering belt, cam belt, and the gearbox fluid changed twice. There are a number of small things to make this car cosmetically challenged. The worst thing really being the roof. The roof needs repainting. The rest of it's just little bits of scratches here and there really. Tiny dents, trolley dings, that kind of thing. But otherwise it's actually a very nice car. Let's go looking for dents, shall we? Yeah, not many. There's a bit of a scuff on the bumper there. Headlamps could do with a polish. Tiny bit of lacquer damage just there. That wing's okay, that door's okay, besides a mild scratch which I can get out. And same with this quarter panel here. Oh, the roof, of course, that's the bit that really doesn't look too good. Maybe, do you know what that looks like? It looks like a swamp. The boot is fine, that's all good. Rear bumper, all pretty good. And then there's a bit of a dent there, unfortunately. Are there any more? Very, very mild pin dents down the side where probably someone's run a shopping trolley into it. The tyres are all decent. Let's hope the wheels come up well with a good washing as well. Inside we have the green bits. Green there. Look, it's not even peeling off. How cool is that? Oh, I remember actually, this car was professionally valeted. One of those people that come along and you have to pay quite a lot of money to get it clean. Good thing actually, because as I remember, it did smell a bit musty in here, but now it doesn't. Although it does want a good vacuum in here again, it's not too bad. Leather steering wheel, see? CVT automatic gearbox, and a stereo that hasn't been too well fitted. But here's a really cool bit, and that is what is above me. Look, a new headlining, black suede, or a suede effect. It's not actual suede. It's more like velvet. It was very soft, very nice feeling actually. Yeah, and it makes a really good contrast with the grey bits as well. Don't know whether Rover made a very special effort with this car to make sure that these stayed in place, but I've never seen one that's quite as good as that before. Or it's really nice material as well. It's not like the usual stuff. Maybe this has been refit, I really don't know, but it does look very good anyway. The obvious thing is that this car will actually be going on sale quite soon, not just yet. Let me have a good clean up of it or something like that. I need to see this car looking a bit prettier on the outside, and then it can go.